All right, we obviously got great news over the week, and I wanted to just keep it rolling, right? I want to keep talking about the fact that Border Patrol says that there were zero illegal aliens released into the United States. Now, again, the Biden regime, you remember when the Biden regime would tell you, oh, we need more laws, we need Congress to jump on board and pass more legislation if you want us to stop allowing illegal aliens. Well, apparently, that wasn't the case. And if you just look at the numbers from last year alone, the Biden regime released 62,000 illegal aliens into our country for the month of May. So to go from 62,000 to zero, well, I mean, folks, I think that's a big victory that's worth celebrating. Joining me to discuss is Victor Avila. He's a retired HSI and ICE special agent, and he joins us now to react to the great news. Victor, thank you for being here. I'm very excited about the zero illegal aliens that were released into our country for the month of May. That's a big one. Democrats told us we had to pass more legislation if we wanted to make this possible, but somehow, some way, Border Patrol was able to do it without that. Your reaction to the news?
It's incredible news, and a lot of people they're very surprised. But this is actually what's supposed to be happening, right? We got so used to seeing 62,000 a month, 200,000 a month. Remember those months that it almost became normal, and it's not normal. Zero is normal, and why is that? Well, you've seen the surge, you've seen military, you've seen the consequences also placed on Mexico. So all the totality of all those issues coming together and the enforcement of the law, this is what you get. You get a positive impact and making the country a lot safer. And plus, you got great leadership at CBP. Rodney Scott just got confirmed as the CBP commissioner, ex-Border Patrol chief. You're going to see things even get better over at CBP.
Yeah, and I think it's great because, now they could focus on the things that really matter and not these illegal aliens who have been flooding into our country. So I think it's great that this is happening, and I look forward to seeing how this all plays out. But I wanted to ask you about something else that broke earlier this week, and it was quite strange. So we heard the president going back and forth. President saying that he was going to potentially sign an executive order to go easy on farms and easy on those in the hospitality industry, hotels, and whatnot when it comes to these ICE raids. He since, according to a lot of reports, has kind of toned that down a little bit. Although they said that the raids were paused, they've since now ICE is supposed to be going forward with it. It's obviously a mixed situation, but most Americans didn't vote for that, right? They wanted these ICE raids. They want these people gone and out of our country. But you have stories like the AP was trying to pitch this as potentially a financial burden for the American economy, saying that a lot of these people these illegal aliens are uncertain and baffled when it comes to all of this. What is your reaction to the news? Because obviously there's a different standpoint that you come from on all of this. As a retired agent, you know what goes on. And to sit here and to see, well, we'll give this special industry some type of leniency, it's not what the American people voted for.
No, and I don't like the confusion either. I don't like certain orders coming from the boss, and then the agency maybe taking it upon themselves with their leadership to say something else. And it tells me that things are not on the same page over there at DHS and ICE, and that's concerning because of the enforcement and because of what's happening right now and the protests and the riots. And those are not going to go away. I do think they're going to be toned down because President Trump is not going to allow this to get out of hand, especially the destruction of these cities. But when it comes to if you want to pause and if you want to do something, whether to a certain category of legal aliens, it has to be crystal clear. And I really don't. To me, it doesn't really matter because a lot of these illegals are, well, I'm afraid and I don't know what to do depending on whatever somebody says. Well, you're here illegally, and you should be worried to begin with because you're here illegally. But if there's going to be something done specifically, yeah, I would want that communication to go very clearly down to the line officer, down to the field officer, to make sure exactly what they're going to do because there are millions still of really bad people with deportation orders, criminal histories, and many other different types of illegal aliens that we have plenty to choose from to go get. And I think that needs to be even enforced even more. And if you come across these other illegals at the same time, well, they're going to have to go as well.
Yeah, I think it's really important too because we just had Trisha McLaughlin on the program, and she detailed the fact that we are the agencies are specifically targeting those with criminal either convictions or they are currently pending with their criminal charges. I believe that statistic is about 75% of ICE arrests thus far have been specifically geared towards those individuals. So that's really important. But Victor, we also hear Democrats pushing back and pretending, and they use the term immigrants, or they'll use a term, they'll say, oh, it's a Los Angeles man. But these are hardened criminals. And I'm constantly on Twitter posting these things of these arrests. I mean, there was just one individual who, back in his native country, was convicted of raping a girl. I think it was a teenage girl. And the crime itself, the details behind it were so egregious. And yet, Democrats sit here and look the American people in the eye, and they're advocating for these individuals. And they're actually trying to intercept these ICE raids. They're looking to show up. They're looking to get into like a little bit of a scruffle when they're being arrested. What's your reaction to it as an agent when you see this? And when you also see that California Democrats are looking to make sure that ICE agents can't cover their faces, which obviously most of them are doing because they're trying to disguise themselves from the cartels, from those in the far left who are trying to dox them, go after their families. So, what's your reaction as a former agent or as a retired agent, say?
I can't tolerate the obstructionist. I'm telling you, we're already seeing some of these elected officials get arrested, and rightly so. But I want them arrested and prosecuted because they wouldn't do this to another, up to a police officer, to a sheriff's deputy. But for some reason, because it's an ICE agent and there's just politics involved in the immigration system, all of a sudden it's okay to dox them. It's okay to obstruct them, to get violent with them and get in front of them and keep them from doing their job. Think about what they're doing. It's like any police officer pulling somebody over for DUI. It's exactly the same thing, except it happens to be immigration law. And I'm sick and tired of the left and the public that is not aware of what the authority of an ICE special agent is or ICE ERO officer is, and it is being able to pick up people without any kind of warrant. They keep, you heard the elected official, oh, I want to see the warrant. There is no warrant. I don't need a warrant. I arrested 99% of the people I arrested in my career was without any warrant, and that we have that type of authority. And I think that needs to be made clear to the people that come up and obstruct them when they're trying to keep them from doing their job. And to those that are obstructing, they got to be held accountable too. Unless you start doing that, we're going to see more of these riots get together. But I'll tell you a quick story. I covered my face one time on a high risk arrest, and we did the perp walk. The guy was a government official that was corrupt, and it was going to be all over the papers. And I remember getting some pushback from my superiors, like, why'd you cover your face? Well, I had to protect my identity. And ICE agents, we protect our identity. We try to, be cognizant of what information we put out. It's not that we can't be found, but we don't, just gratuitously put it out there. And when people are out there identifying you and telling where your kids go to school and where you live, it's a cause for concern because there's some crazy nuts out there that would cause some harm.
Yeah, yeah, and we see it time and time again. So you guys have every reason to want to cover your faces, and we see it in other countries too. I constantly see when police in like places like Mexico or other South American countries, when they cover their faces when making these arrests, it's not questioned because everyone understands that there's high stakes involved in all of this. And so when Democrats question it, it's quite fascinating. And they were always big fans of masks. What the heck happened with them? It's one of the most amazing things to witness now that they're pushing back. But they won't push back on their rioters who are covering their faces when they're committing felonies, though. They're allowed to
Wow,
cover their faces, just not the law enforcement officers who are trying to protect themselves, their families, and the community. They're the ones who get the pushback, of course.
that's
Victor,
right.
as always, I want to thank you for all that you do and all that you continue to do. It was a pleasure having you on the program today, so thank you. So many journalists are really just afraid to cover the most important stories right now in our country. Well, I'm fearless. I don't really care. I'll cover anything really at this point because if it's a good story that needs to be heard, I'm going to talk about it. So if you want to stay in the know, I've got a website where you could go right now. You can sign up. It is free to be a part of my email list. You get these exclusive stories directly to your inbox. All you got to do is head over to independentnewsroom.com. That's independentnewsroom.com. We've got the subscribe tab for you there. Folks, I'm not going to spam you to death. I promise that. It's going to just be maybe one story a week, the exclusive stories that I'm working on. So head on over right now, independentnewsroom.com. Subscribe. It is free unless you want to support my work as an independent journalist. I love it when you do just that because that's the only reason why we're able to stay up and running. So head on over right now, independentnewsroom.com, and hit that subscribe tab.